Well, hey guys, Putty Tuck here. I'm Putty.
I am Tuck.
Excellent. And we're here for the great Scramble. Tucker, what the fuck is a Scramble?
That's a good question. I still don't really understand, so
Ay.
let's do it.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about... We can go to the show, but do you want to talk about John Cena versus Edge in a generation-defining last man standing match?
So I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, I think Putty really likes this. Uh-oh.
Interesting.
I think it's kind of shitty.
Okay. Is that... you want to go further, or do you want me to respond?
Okay. How about this? It wasn't actually that bad. I think I ended up saying that my opinion was I was sports entertained.
Yes.
But
you popped for the finish like I thought you would.
Fucking just a Big Show emerges. I'm like, Big Show! And then I was like, oh, it is this match. I wondered about that.
Yeah.
I saw the spotlight on the stage earlier, and I was like, does Triple H go through that on this show, and then John Cena does it later in the year, and then no, this is the show. I don't know. It just felt very. It didn't feel brutal. I guess it felt.
I agree.
Wacky and zany.
Yep. So I'll now spoil that I did not, in fact, really like this match.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to be like, it is like cartoon wrestling, but like what it's trying to do, it's doing well. That's what I kept coming back to.
So, I've got a bunch of notes for this match, weirdly. I had a lot to say about it. Do you want me to just read the summary, or do you want me to go through it all? Are you interested?
Do whatever you want to do. Yeah, I'm here.
All right, so my first note happens about 10 minutes in. So that tells you all you need to know about how I felt about the first 10 minutes, which I thought was fine, but it definitely wasn't great. Although I do think there was some like head selling from Cena, which, while a little weird, kind of worked for me in the first 10 minutes. Like Edge kept like hitting his head, and Cena was like, my head is fucked. I am dead.
The first thought that I had, and I think it started the building of like, this is a wacky, zany match, was after Edge gets Cena in the sleeper hold, and then Cena's trying to get back up, and his cell is like, he's like trying to like put his weight up on his arms, and he just drops back down, and he's like, it was just like, this is a cartoon. This is wrestling for children.
There was a lot of overselling in the first,
yes,
3 quarters. I will say I liked that. Nearly. I kind of liked that selling. That stuff landed for me. There's some zany stuff that
clearly.
Yeah. There's some zany stuff that I don't like. So about 10 minutes, I mentioned how I do think they used the steps really well. It was a nice structure around a singular weapon being used to escalate the violence.
There was a couple seconds where I was like, is this the proto stairs match? That's why I'm watching this.
I've got a little Nate shout out because he's very loud in this match. It's hard to ignore him.
I also thought at one point, hey, look, Charles out there bellowing.
Stealing the spotlight, man.
Literally.
So, one of the things I say about around 13 minutes is I don't know if Cena is just an amazing seller, or whether or not these stairs are legitimately heavy as fuck, but he is clearly struggling to move these stairs around. You remember that spot where he's trying to get it into the ring, and he's like really struggling to get it into the ring. He has to like push it and shit. I don't know if that is wacky. I don't think that was wacky, but
I think it was a little crazy. Okay, to me, right? It's like the steel steps are the heaviest object in the history of the planet, right?
Especially the bottom ones.
Yeah, and John Cena just shoulders that bitch, and you're like, whoa, holy fuck! And then he kind of struggles to put it in, and I'm like, yeah, this is a comedy match. Like, this is funny as fuck.
I do think obviously it's unfortunate if he isn't doing it on purpose. I'm still not convinced of whether or not he is. Then I do think it's a little unfortunate that he gets caught where he does. However, it does, at least for me, by the 13-minute mark, sell to me that these are the heaviest objects on the planet. And so when Cena manages, again, with great discomfort, to get it over his head and then yeet it directly onto Edge's skull, I don't know, it sold that was a brutal as fuck spot for me anyway. I was like, damn, that was rough.
For me, him so easily shouldering it and then like trying to figure out like, oh, I could throw it over. Oh wait, maybe I should put it under. No, I guess I'll throw it over, and then not being able to throw it over.
Are we talking about the same portion of the match? Because I'm past him, but getting it into the ring. It's when he throws it out of the ring.
I know. I was connecting those up there.
All right. Okay.
I thought that was a moment, and then when he whipped them out of the ring at Edge, the noise that it made, I was like, "This is a fucking comedy match. This is funny. Like this is." It goes thunk off his head and like bounces
I was like,
away.
Man, that's gotta fucking hurt.
Oh, I was like, "This is funny as fuck. This is like cartoon."
All right, that we'll just have to agree to disagree on that one. I agree with some of it, but I do think that that spot was brutal for me. Let me see here.
I did start questioning that at some point with myself, where I was like, "Is any of this actually like brutal and
some of
like,
it is
serious?" And I just can't get there for some reason.
I think that sentence is one that I would agree to, and I mentioned something like that later. Around 15 and a half minutes, I think, I can't remember this. Oh, yes. There's some, I don't remember this exactly. I watched this a few days ago, but I've written that Edge starts teasing using some of Cena's moves, and then Cena just catches him, which I like. I like that stuff.
Yeah, Edge goes for the 5-knuckle shuffle.
Yes.
Cena just kicks him. He's just like, no.
Edge, a little note about Edge tapping immediately into the STF, I think is nice.
I liked it too. Him tapping with both hands, I was like, comedy match. It's the cartoon.
The first real finisher of the match happens at 17 when Cena goes for the AA and Edge slips out and hits a nice spear. And I don't like Edge's spear, so I feel like that's a compliment that I thought this one looked good.
The only thing I felt about that was, and like whatever, it's totally explain-awayable and stuff like that, but Cena gets Edge up for the AA. Edge grabs the ropes, then Cena sprints to the center of the ring and sprints back at Edge so Edge can catch it with a spear. And I was just like, that was fucking weird. I
didn't notice that. Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
I don't
know. Cena just immediately breaks the AA attempt and kind of like full speed goes to the very center of the ring, doesn't hit the ropes, and then just turns and goes back. So
maybe he's trying to clothesline Edge over the top rope. Because I think Cena's trying to AA him over the top.
That could be it. The only thing I thought of was like, he just decided like, no, I can't do that. And then just immediately tried to go back on offense. And I was just like, you die.
There's an avalanche AA right after at 1830, which I wrote wasn't built to particularly well, but it's still a fun spot.
It just suddenly kind of happens. Like they didn't even do a normal AA. That was my thought. I was like, we haven't even done the normal version of the move, guys. What the hell? Like,
they fuck up by what I think is a really important spot here, where Cena's going for what I assume to be the leg drop, but Cena does not try to make it look like the leg drop much at all, and Edge gets up way too early, and so it kind of it's a really decent idea of a spot, but Edge spears him out of the air, I think it's really fucking awkward looking.
Edge holds there just long enough where I was like, oh, this is gonna look really good. And then before seeing Cena off the top rope, he's already kind of gotten up off his knees and is like looking up at him. And I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. Too fast.
What I did say is I think, and this is where I think we have a slight disagreement, I think the selling from Cena afterwards where he barely makes the count and then he tumbles out of the ring, I think that's quite cool. And I think it smoothly transitions into the table spot that's coming.
That's the one where he gets launched from the apron, right? Or is that much earlier?
I don't think he's launched from. I think he just, when he gets hit by the spear, he gets up at 9 and then he just tumbles out of the ring.
Yeah. What was the? Okay. Because I was thinking of there's one point where Edge hits Cena with something and Cena goes down like under the ropes, and I was like, oh, he'll at 9 or whatever, he'll roll out and stand on the floor. Then instead he just pulls himself up on the apron, and then Edge hits him, but he goes flying off onto the announce table from the apron. So I was thinking of that.
Maybe it is that, but I don't remember exactly.
I feel like that happened way earlier, though. I think that's before
right.
the stairs stuff. Like,
then this was probably the first spot of the match that well, except for the stairs throw, but that one not so much, where I actually really, really liked this spot. And it's Edge trying to DDT Cena through the table, Cena's counter into AA into the crowd. I think that's a really cool spot.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. I was like, oh, fuck, okay. Damn.
And that kicks off what I consider to be the best sequence of the match, because Edge then starts running through the crowd away from Cena, which I think is great character work, and it's also a great way of escalating the violence in the match. I
think you're about to say what I'm probably going to say. So
okay, then we get to one of the other great spots of the match where Cena hits I think it's Cena. I didn't write who did it here, but I'm pretty sure it's Cena who hits a running bulldog onto some equipment, which I think looks really, really cool.
That was the first time where I questioned, wait, was this match serious the whole time? And I've just been like, this is too memey for me. I can't do this.
Now and also I'm looking at my next note in a new light, given your take. But it worked for me because I wasn't quite laughing at the match as much as you were by this point. But Edge hitting Cena with something, I don't even know what it is. And then I say Cena sells like death though, so it's still kind of based. And then Edge DDT Cena onto the stage in another really good brutal spot.
Okay, I must have missed that somehow, because I was literally gonna say, it was DDT hit him with on the stage. Yeah, I must have not looked very good. I don't remember it too well.
Oh, okay. Well, I like the DDT on the stage, but it's at this point that my like of the match ends. It's this little 4-minute sequence where they get it all kind of right. No, not yet. He's the icing on the cake. What first happens is that from that DDT, Cena gets up at 9, but by 8, Edge has just gone off screen and then comes back with a chair with his eyes and face in the sense that he is just literally a cartoon character. I did not like this at all. I thought this was bad.
He goes around the corner, gets a chair, and then I don't even know what it is. He just moves quickly back over to John Cena, and I was like, oh my god, this again, cartoon. I was just like, this is.
This whole finishing stretch of the match, I feel like Edge is not nailing his vibe at all. And I do right before Big Show shows up, that watching Cena answer a 10 count probably will never get old. And then I'm like, why is the Big Show here? And then I have it all caps, explosion.
My actual reaction was sitting there, I'm just on my own watching, and then he comes out from nowhere, and I'm just like, oh shit.
It's all it's fairly seamlessly handled if it wasn't just the Big Show appears.
It's so funny.
I got my last note of the match before I write my summary is it's a brutal spot. But why? Why are we doing this? Why not just have Edge spear him into it or something?
Literally.
Like, why?
It's so funny. I was like, Big Show emerges from the shadows. I was just like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Cena sells it really well too.
Yeah.
It's just it's just, why are we doing this? So my summary that I wrote at the end was that this has all the guts of a good match. Cena and an LMS will never not have magic, but it didn't feel like it ever caught fire. There's lots of technicals being done very well here, but it never really took off into a compelling story, and the finish is a wet fart.
I'm shocked at how much I remember from this, which is good. Edge's something I remember particularly about the early sections of the matches, where I was just like, Edge's punches are so bad. They cannot sell. I hate this guy. Edge at no point in this match sells, I hate this guy. It's more so, how do I take down this fucking superhuman? And some of that cartoon comedy, to me at least, is watching him continuously go, oh my god, he got up again. And
no way.
Yeah, no way, man. Yeah, it's tough because, again, I didn't fully hate it. As I said, I ended up saying I was sports entertained. That might just be the Big Show, though. Honestly, that saved my whole night.
What's interesting is I was probably higher on this if the Big Show didn't show up. It kind of soured this match a little for me.
I think I'm only remotely thinking positively of it because suddenly Big Show appeared, show slammed a dude through a thing and it exploded. Like, I was just like, damn, all right.
Also,
that's about.
can we talk about like the technicals of this? Because like either they got a really good glass sound effect or that is some sort of glass-like substance he was thrown through. And I don't know, that looks pretty fucked up to me.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. I did actually. It was funny as fuck. I was like, oh man, I bet Cena's back is all cut up. And then I was like,
it's
oh
not,
wait,
though.
no, what? Yeah, it's like, what company are we in again?
Yeah. So it's like,
what year is it?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I don't know what they did, but I'm impressed by it anyway. If only, and it's one of those things where I get like spearing him through it might have been not possible, but like surely Edge could have tossed him off the stage or something.
Yeah, thrown him through it or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it was a nice spot. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too anti Big Show, but like, I
you're absolutely right in saying, why the fuck did this happen here? Like, what is the?
And I know the answer. It's because like they're building a 3-way. Well, they've already been building. They fought at Mania. There was a 3-way at Mania, and you know he's involved. And he hates John, but it's just like, man, that just completely undercuts the match for me. It's like we wanted to see if Edge or Cena would win, and neither of them did. And I also think. I had said this to you at one point as well, where I was like... It's also, sorry to interrupt, but it's a title change as well, which matters to me.
Yeah. Actually, two things that come to mind there. The first one being at the end when the commentators are like, Edge is now a 9-time world champion. I'm like,
yes.
What the
I had to
fuck?
When they said 8-time at the start of the match, I had to double check. I was like, no fucking way. And I was like, oh yeah. Yeah, okay. He is.
I only caught when they said 9 at the end, and I just went, what the fuck? Like, oh my god, why?
It's almost... It's one of those things where I recognize there was a lot of title changes in that era, and sometimes I get to the point where I'm like, okay, yeah, we can do a little bit of fast and loose with our belt, but I'm like, we just never can... It's impossible to get to that level. I don't comprehend how quickly they tossed the belt around in that era for some reason. I mean, we are talking about the same year, I think, where Edge loses the WWE Championship and wins the World Heavyweight Championship on the same night.
And... I mean, Edge talks about it in the promo before the match, but his first title is January 2006. This is April 2009.
Yep.
9 world titles. That's like, it's one every 3 months, is it not? Like, yeah, it's one every 3 months. It would be
3 every year, so 1 every 4 months, I think, if my math is right.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
Which, I mean, it's the same kind of point.
A year's in 9 months? What the hell are you talking about? I just was like, what the actual fuck?
It's less evident here, but it kind of calls back to another match I watched this week with it was Alex Shelley versus Chris Sabin, and they're trying to put over that it's like, oh, this is a huge match, it's massive, it's crazy, and then like it's Alex Shelley's first X Division title win, and he like gets it with a cheeky roll up, and it's like, man, that just falls flat. That's just not what you want to be doing with that moment for that guy.
I'm sure their idea was that it makes both guys look good. It looks close. You know what I mean?
And is that the same with this, that it keeps John Cena strong? Because how could he have seen the Big Show coming?
I guess it is, right? Like, I mean, that is what it is. You want Cena to lose here. How do you do it? Well, a 7-footer comes out of the shadows and throws him into an exploding light structure.
I haven't double-checked this beforehand, but I'm going to go check. You say we want Cena to lose this. What are the odds Cena is world champion within the next 2 months?
Oh, like 100%.
Right. So I don't get that.
I would not be stunned.
13-time WWE champion, by the way.
Something of me seeing it as a bit cartoony as well might be, and this is why I was like, I'm sports entertained. I think this is what they were going for, quite honestly, is because the audience at this point is so young. Like,
maybe.
The crowd is high-pitched, man. Like, that's what I'm going to tell you. It's weird. The first thought I thought, genuinely,
I don't think the crowd is energetic enough to be that young, unless it's just like, we've been here for 3 hours and we've had our sugar crash now.
What was the exact thing I sent to you? Because I sent something early.
About American crowds dying, I remember.
Yeah, because it was like, they hyped this up as like, this is the big culmination of their thing. And then Edge's theme hits, and it's just totally silent. Everybody's just like, okay.
That's because it kind of sucks.
And he does, but then Cena's theme hits, and everybody's kind of goes, yeah, okay. And I'm just like, wow. I'm like, holy fuck.
Next time John Cena wins the WWE title is September. So, there's a little bit of a break there.
Okay,
he holds it for a mighty 21 days.
Wow, what a guy.
And then loses it, and then Orton holds it for a mighty 21 days, and then Cena wins it back.
That's awesome. Jesus.
Oh shit, there's a 1 day title reign in here at Elimination Chamber. Oh, I remember this one. This one's when Batista comes out and just beats him for some reason. And then Cena wins it back at Mania. What the fuck are they doing?
Yeah, literally, what the fuck are they doing? Yeah, I don't know. I just thought...
In 2009, Cena was champ again by September, feuds with Miz and Show, and then starts the Orton feud. Nice.
Yeah, I just kind of felt like, in lieu of actually being able to do a serious, angry, last man standing match, with the audience they have, how do you go about that? You make it kind of wacky and zany and over the top, and I think that's what they did. And so I was like, I think ultimately they achieved what they were going for. I just don't think it was good.
My take is that I don't see the match being that wacky and zany until the end. Now,
I think the whole thing is Cena. Okay, Cena's selling to start with, but also the way they throw each other into the stairs, and then both men take a big push into the stairs to make it look like a big fucking explosion. And it's like, what the fucking hell? When Cena gets knocked off that apron onto the announce table, he goes, whoa! And I was just like, oh my god! It's
all right. I have a serious and I have an unserious response to that. The serious response is that it worked for me. The unserious response is this is coming from a guy who rates very highly Will of Ospreay, who I feel like does a lot of his make things big by just overacting half the time. But okay.
Because my argument there was going to be, yeah, but you'll never catch Will Ospreay selling, so it's fine.
Okay, well, maybe that's the difference between Will Ospreay now and Will Ospreay 10 years ago, is that 10 years ago he was trying and being really bad at it. So maybe he's just said, you know what, fuck it, I don't need to sell. I don't need to scream really loudly every time I get fucking touched by the wind.
As I've said to you in DMs before, anytime you ever see Ospreay selling, it feels very much like he's seen somebody on the internet somewhere say something, and he's like, I've got to check the box tonight, guys. I gotta make sure people don't think I'm absolutely not selling.
It's like you talk to somebody who looks up to him and was like, bro, I need to learn how to sell. Could you send me some tape? And they were like, here, sure. And it's just Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. And Ospreay's like, what's he doing there? He's grabbing his leg.
And he's yelling really loudly.
Looks like...
Wait, no, actually,
he's in pain?
He's not yelling really loud. Yeah, but he's telling the story through his facial expressions. Now, I can't do that. But but if the Japanese fans hear me shout, fuck, they'll know I'm in pain. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to yell fuck really loudly every time I get hit.
I'm being told I can't do that on American TV every week or else they'll get mad. So I don't know what to do, guys. Yeah, I don't know what to do, guys. I think I'm just gonna stop doing this.
Well, yep.
All right. Who's off on this show, buddy?
Good question. Nat Hart.
Yep.
Mr. Kennedy.
Yep. Yo, Big Ted, by the way.
Holy.
Oh, I guess that's only star. I was thinking this was the major stars list.
Oh, he's still large. He's white hot with a legendary gimmick.
Doesn't have a manager.
True. Get not the Undertaker. Tori Wilson. She can go home.
Yep. Tori's still insanely over.
I know. I also remember
crazy.
there are plans, big plans that you don't remember.
Oh, excellent.
They're coming.
Those are my favorite kind.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. We'll keep.
I like being surprised. I like showing up and going, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah. natural that way. I think that's everyone. I guess Jeff, actually. Jeff Hardy doesn't need to be here.
Cool.
Cool.
I don't think
not
we were
the
in
garden.
TD Garden.
We're
Yeah, I
not.
don't think
We're
so.
in the American Airlines Center.
American Airlines, yeah. Which is going to be in the game, surely.
Oh, well, it is your job to check these things when you
I
pitch
know,
the
and
venues to me.
that's why I'm like, surely
no,
it's just
surely
in
it is.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
okay,
is.
there we go.
Yeah, I had no doubt in my mind.
I was gonna say, I'm like, it is like the Dallas arena.
Maybe
so I don't know
go
what
check
the
those
hell.
other 2 venues we've got confirmed, and
Oh, that's a good call. That's a good call. Hold on. No, I hit N. Ho ho.
I know Wells Fargo is for Survivor Series.
Okay, so AT&T doesn't appear to be here, but I'm thinking that's because it's under a different name when this save starts. So
Damn, you gave me the non-era appropriate name. How dare you?
Well, I did for 08.
Oh, I see. So actually what we need to do is edit the venue.
Oh, wait, is it here at all?
AT&T Center, is it?
Yeah, AT&T Center or the SBC Center, and I don't.
The Frost Bank Center.
That's brand new, though. It would not be the Frost Bank Center.
That makes sense.
That's really weird. It's just not here. Broke ground. Yeah, opened in 2002.
San Antonio Spurs Arena.
Nope. San Antonio Rose Palace.
Sure ain't that.
Yeah, okay, so it should be the SBC Center when the save started.
Is
it
it
would be the AT&T Center now.
Hold on.
I'm actually shocked it's just not here.
I'm just not going to read this because you'd know this. Did this replace the Alamo Dome?
Well, it did for basketball because the Alamo Dome is a 40,000 seat
I was asking.
arena.
So yeah. My question was, did they tear down the Alamo Dome and construct this thing? It sounds like the answer is no.
Right? Yeah, I don't think so. I think it still exists. Let me just see really quick. Yeah, no, it looks like it's still functioning. Yeah, should be.
Yeah. That's kind of weird. Yeah, just put it in.
Yeah, it's weird that it's just not in at all. I'll do that afterwards.
Do you want to make a note somewhere in the Discord?
Yeah, good call. Doing it in this section.
The Where Am I section?
I put it in the pre-booking thing.
That's fine.
That's fair.
That's fine.
The other ones,
Wells Fargo
at least.
For Survivor Series.
Okay. Tri-State. PA. I don't know if it's Wells. It is Wells Fargo at this point. Cool. We're good on that.
Cool. But for this show, we're in the American Airlines Center. All the TV broadcasters.
All the TV ones, which I think I should be able to... No, I can't sort this by anything, actually. That's cool.
You might be able to click automatic selection would put the pay-per-view ones on.
It would put the pay-per-view ones on.
So ESPN definitely. And the ESPN Mexico definitely.
Yep. Fight Network for sure.
Fox Sports Australia.
Eurosport, I think, also.
Yes.
Fox Sports Australia.
J Sport 1.
Yep. That's our new Canadian one, by the way.
Yep, we talked about this.
Okay, cool. I just didn't know if you'd seen it or not. Cool, that's all of them.
I have seen it because you made a mistake with the contract.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's all I could do. So, yeah, I should have just gotten a medium. But
which is fine. We'll do that next time. Let's just hope we don't get taken off the air.
I doubt we will. All right.
If only you had made this mistake in a year's time, we could have been like, oh, well, it's King of the Ring in 2010. We'll just do it that way somehow.
True. Okay, perfect. 214.
Amazing.
All right.
His child. Oh shit! He's teaching him how to. This
He's smartening him up.
lore accurate canon
Literally.
event.
You, son, are going to someday book yourself, and it won't go very well.
Well, it will. It'll go very well for you.
Who am I?
Cody Rhodes.
Oh, yeah. It'll go pretty good for you in the long run. But the actual run where you're booking yourself won't be very well received.
No, but it doesn't matter when you make so much money off of it and become the biggest star in wrestling on the back of it.
The 20-year-old is pulling ribs in the back, dude. We've created a monster.
The John Cena of the women's division.
Real shit. William Regal got everybody together.
Hey, they weren't listed specifically this time.
No, they weren't. All right, what do we got going on here?
I feel like we should pull a rib on Kelly Kelly.
Yep. I knew that was coming.
Just a minor one. Let's just see if she's got if she can take it as well as give it out. Okay, she can. All right. You got a bright future in this business, young lady. Our commentary team, I think, should be
yeah.
Michael Cole, John Bradshaw Layfield, and Jim Ross. Thoughts?
Yep.
Cool. I also think this would be very fun.
Let me do all my little angles here.
Sure.
Segment host. 1 minute.
Do you see I added official themes to all of the upcoming shows?
I did see that.
Feel free to disagree with any of them.
No.
Look, this is important to us, all right? Don't feel bad about it.
Who are we doing for the video package here?
So I think it's one of those where we show interview clips with all of them.
Okay.
So Bobby Lashley can be the guy. That's fine.
Fair play, yeah.
Yeah. But this is like a 3-minute video package at least, because there's a lot going on here. Let's get Randy Orton and Ted DiBiase off screen in this angle.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's longer than that. Yeah, that works. Would you like to use pros today?
Oh, yeah, I guess we will. The world is watching. I guess it's not a title. I should, yeah.
I agree. I wouldn't have said anything, but I agree.
Oh, hypening. I bring up the first ever championship scramble.
I like the idea that so the vibe of this video package is tonight we could see any number of world heavyweight champions, but only one man could leave with the championship.
Perfect.
JR subtly ribs Bradshaw for being on comms.
You want me to write that?
I think so. Maybe you could put it in a different way. Or you can put it the way I said it if you liked it. I just thought
I did kind of, yeah. JR,
I've had the pleasure over the years of calling many matches of John Bradshaw Layfield, but I have never and didn't think I'd ever have the pleasure of calling matches with John Bradshaw Layfield.
Perfect. JR jabs JB Elbow being on comms, and then they
discuss the upcoming United States Championship match.
All right. Matches.
Randy Orton versus Ted DiBiase.
Shocker.
Yep. Let's go 11 question mark.
Yeah.
Okay. Randy Orton wins. Open, tainted, I guess, although it's a hardcore match. What do you think about that?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I guess it's still tainted, right?
Yeah, I think I agree.
Oh, wrong way.
Wrong way. I guess turn should be used here too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Perfect.
Oh,
Everybody's like, what the fuck? watching the VOD, everybody's like, what the fuck?
They'll get it when they watch. This is a good moment to plug that I have cleaned up the Matsudaira VODs channel, and there is now a 2007-2008 playlist that you can go watch that has all of the VODs except for the SNME booking VODs, which are replaced by Tucker's videos, and the pay-per-view booking VODs, which are also replaced by Tucker's videos. So it's a pretty clean way to watch the VODs.
Wonderful.
Yeah. All that to say, if anybody's watching the VODs playlist from next year, they won't even see this video.
True.
Yeah. Okay. I have all the matches. I didn't have them in an order, but I did have the times, which should give us an indication of the order. Matt's tough. There are a lot of potentially large matches on this card. Might I suggest the tags?
Yep.
Okay. What are we thinking? Oh, I know the time, actually. Sorry. This is a 13-minute match.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we can change it, but that's just what I've got down.
Yeah, no, that's cool with me. Let me just set these to what I want them to be. Main event is SmackDown stuff, so likely Undertaker. So, Arn.
Cool. So,
yeah.
Not necessarily a negative way, but like, I wonder whether or not this doesn't have to be the last match between these teams. I know naturally you ended at 3, but I feel like there's no reason to with these teams. I feel like they would be interesting enough to continue fighting.
Just keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that to me indicates that if we're going to keep going and we're going to do this again and again and again, that maybe this is a retention because it solidifies Morrison's prophecy. And it also, I feel like if we're going to extend this, then the final match should be Lundrick reclaiming the belts and leaving the feud with the titles. Oh, yeah. I was sitting
here going,
Huh. I really thought that the Miz and Morrison were champs for some reason. So it kind of completely invalidates what I said. Yes, I would.
Okay. We have London Kendrick retain here.
Okay.
Miz and Morrison can win it back. Next tag title defense when we involve a third team.
Who I think we've already been building. Maybe not, actually. But yes, sure. It's easy enough. It's probably Regal and Henry.
Yeah, and then Miz and Morrison can win it there, which can lead us back into doing London, Kendrick, Miz and Morrison.
It's pretty natural. And I think in my current pitch, both teams are in the Survivor Series match, so we don't need to do a defense on that show.
What if London and Kendrick are about to retain, and then the big show comes out?
Okay, I'm listening.
That's it. That's my pitch. He doesn't even get involved. He just comes out.
He just comes out. Choke slams a random extra off the stage into a spotlight, and then we blow it up for some reason. Sounds good. No, I think you're right, though. I think I'm down for exactly what you said, which is that London and Kendrick retain here.
Perfect.
Okay, I think it's women then next. And I had the women at 10 minutes.
I like it.
Okay. This is another one where we sort of got to think about the future. I think I've been leaning towards Mickie James winning the women's title. And then Beth, the way Beth gets back the title is to go after Mickie then. Which would lead me to think Mickie should win this. Which I'm kind of down for.
Yeah. You got anything like specific with that, or?
Well, the idea would be that Beth Phoenix is a wrestler and Mickie Phoenix is a crazy person. Mickie Phoenix? That's nice.
Mickie Phoenix, yeah. I was like, what's up with that?
Mickie James is a crazy person who thrives in this Falls Count Anywhere chaos, and it just gets really hardcore, and we get some color, and Mickie James is just way better in that environment.
Okay, yeah. I like that sell.
All right, cool. We should definitely protect Beth.
I hear that. Nice.
Oh, nice. Now I think it's the IC title match. Which I've got going 7 minutes.
Yep. Brian works, but let's give this to... Yeah, Sting's not going to do anything else tonight, so...
Have you got Steamboat on the cruiserweights? Is that the plan?
Oh, yeah, I forgot the cruiserweight one was there. Yeah, so I'll go Steamboat for that. That works perfectly.
And you want Taker on the main, which I'm okay with. Okay. Milan Miracle Flash Pinfall?
Holy fuck. It's happened.
Then this one. Now, this one I'm more open for you changing, because obviously it's your thing. I didn't know what you'd want. I put down 17. I think that's a good number. I'm kind of down for whatever.
I want to know what their
Mask versus Mask match.
Yeah, I think that was a SmackDown, wasn't it?
You're probably better off going to their profiles. This might be a struggle otherwise.
Good call. I
think you should be able to click on these matches. No, I don't know, actually.
It's gotta be this one then. So I'm like 22. Okay. Yeah, I'm cool with 17. That works for me.
I'll leave this to you.
put it to rest, Ray. It's over finally. The long nightmare has ended.
I am down with that. I am down for that. I am down for that. But just to mention that Psychosis is going to fight for the Cruiserweight title soon. And yeah, Rey Mysterio getting the shit beaten out of him in an I Quit match is based and iconic. But if you want to do the Rey win, it's up to you.
I kind of feel like he has to.
Why can't you, of all people, Tucker? Why can't the bad guy win? Rey already took his mask.
You're right. Fuck. If you want to know my actual answer, it's not a good one. So
I'll hear it, because maybe I'll disagree.
I'm worried about Ray's pop number getting too low. It's already very low.
How low are we talking here? If it's above 70, I'm not concerned. Oh, it's close to 70.
Yeah.
Psychosis is pretty over too, though. He'll probably swap places.
It hurt Ray. Ray, yeah.
Can I interest you in the argument that Psychosis might be as good of a worker as Rey Mysterio?
Okay, well, you don't have to lie. Like,
look at it. Look at it. He's pretty good. He's
not quite Rey Mysterio.
He's not quite Rey Mysterio, but he's not that far off. Ray's also got, look at that entertainment skills. I feel like we can rebuild him. Also, one thing that's just come into my mind, can I interest you in the possibility that I've been mulling over recently?
At the big show. Oh, okay.
Of Rey Mysterio before the end of this year, becoming the Cruiserweight champion. And that is the end of this feud.
Oh, fuck. 2-year-long story.
No. I just mean like, well, we could. Fuck it. I'm down for that. It sounds based. But my suggestion was like, Ray wins the belt, defends it against Psychosis, and then boom, that's the finality. But...
Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
thought you were saying Psychosis had the belt.
No, I mean, there's that sounds kind of fun, but I don't think there's time for that. We're not
Understandable.
2009 real life WWE. We can't just like have 2-week title reigns every time.
We can't just be fucking around. I hear
Yeah. I put forward my arguments. If you want to end it here with a Ray win, I think we can definitely do a Psychosis title shot anyway. I think it's quite a natural progression if he wins this.
It is. I had started to think about that as well, and I was like, well, Psychosis can just, like,
Sure.
attack
Anything.
Christian, and that's enough.
For sure. But then this is
but
just a natural in, isn't it?
It is, and I should probably take it.
Okay.
I would love for somebody to cost Ray this match, but...
Oh, okay. It's too...
Okay.
No. I thought of somebody who would be perfect, but he can't do it. That's why I made that noise. Because there was somebody who would have been great for this spot, but he's already in a feud that's not anywhere close to being over.
We don't have anything for like the next month or so for Ray anyways, right? So it's not like...
Ray's going to be fighting for the Cruiserweight belt at Survivor Series. But yeah, up until that, I don't think there's any content that prerequisites Ray needing to do.
There's like a couple weeks here. We make something very small.
I guess why? Because I want to avoid...
I feel weird about Ray losing this.
Why? We've put Psychosis over so hard.
I know, and I think maybe that's part of why. Like, Psychosis has won a lot in this feud.
But he lost his mask.
Yeah, but he seems to be doing okay about that.
Okay. I don't know. I disagree with that. I think that we have already established that in terms of value and usefulness on this brand, they are of similar weight, and I would like the audience to treat them as such. And I would be okay with Psychosis beating Ray clean. I also... clean as in tangle him up in the stage and hammer his knee with a steel chair till he quits. But I would be okay with some sort of interference if it benefited something. I would just avoid like Deuce and Domino come out and help Psychosis, and it's like, well, no. I mean, I think you want to leave open the option that this is the end of the feud, and so there should be a finality to it. And honestly, okay. I've been maybe now I'm just talking myself into it, but I think it's true. I've been thinking recently, Ray's a dumbass, and I think the audience have been thinking recently, Ray's a dumbass, and I feel like we don't even want Ray to win this feud anymore. Like we
That's
think
why
he
I want him
deserves
to win.
Get hurt. Why?
Because I remember you. Part of this I do believe is you saying that one day and me going, oh god. Maybe he's right. I have to fucking fix this, don't I?
I feel like winning the feud isn't going to fix it. It's going to like make it worse, because then we're like, oh, he's a dumbass, but he's got the Deus Ex Machina of being Rey Mysterio.
I do push back on him being a dumbass.
Really?
Yeah.
I really thought that was the point. I mean, how many times does a guy have to hit you with a steel chair before you start thinking he's a bad guy?
I think Rey Mysterio would do it again.
Then he's a dumbass.
Maybe. but Rey Mysterio chooses to see the good in all people.
Great. And this match is what happens when he does that.
He should maybe fall for something again here.
Yeah, okay, now you're talking. That's a little bit of a, like, tainted win that I could get on board with.
Maybe Ray is going to do the spot where he's tied up in this, where Psychosis is tied up in the stage, and Psychosis is like, no, Ray, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, brother.
It's too much. I'm so sorry.
We've known each other for years. Let's stop this. Ray's like, oh, fuck, he's right. What the fuck am I doing?
He lets him
let
down. They hug.
Yep.
And then Psychosis kicks him in the dick and puts him in the stage.
Psychosis belly to bellies him off the stage or some shit from the hug.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Or, into like a stage element, like the angle Shane thing. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Based.
All right. That's clean.
Yeah, as far as this match type goes.
Yeah.
We can, if you are worried enough about Ray, I'm happy to give him a protect here.
I will probably do that anyways. I think that's partially what I just explained.
Also, when we looked through the matches and the non-wrestling time, who would have thought I Quit has fucking 3 extra minutes for some reason?
I know. Huh. Weird.
All right, and then the main event obviously has only one length that it can go. Let's take a look at these notes and see what we've got here. There's no first entrant, second entrant, last entrant thing.
There is just a pick a winner.
Very well, and that winner is Bobby Lashley. Clean. Unanimous decision finish.
Good call.
Yeah. The judges being...
The judges.
I don't know, the ring announcers.
JR's just like, that's good.
That's him.
Okay, perfect. Put Taker on this with
Charles.
Yeah.
Prepare yourself. Actually, I've got an alternative for the ref here. Do we still have Jimmy Corderas, and is he still a SmackDown guy?
Yep.
I think we should put Jimmy.
We don't have Jimmy.
Oh,
Jimmy's
I thought.
gone.
Yeah. I know we were letting him go. Is there anybody else on SmackDown who's good? Who is on the I Quit match right now?
Good question. I don't think I said it.
Okay.
Oh, did I? Maybe I did mean for Scott to be on there. Yeah. Okay, I did, clearly.
I think we should put Charles on the I Quit match because he's the guy who loves talking to the mic and being like, Rey Mysterio, do you quit?
Would you like to quit?
And then we put, I guess it would be Brian on this match, but I know you've used Brian, so maybe we go back to that match and swap.
Yeah, I could swap Brian out. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Isn't Nick Patrick a SmackDown ref?
He is, yeah.
Isn't he good?
I think he's probably better than Scott.
Scott's pretty trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking Scott.
Big spot for Brian.
Yeah. He's got 100 refereeing. I like Brian in this spot, actually. Surrounded by giants. Because I think, if I'm right in saying he's got a bit of a slender physique, right? He's a little bit of a baby face.
A little tall. Definitely got the baby face going. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Back to Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley. Open, slow build, clean, unanimous.
Yep.
Gotta get that slow build in there.
You want Protect Try or?
No.
Okay. You want Protect Sean?
No.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Chavo. You're the only real one in that match.
Vladimir Kozlov.
Thanks, Chavo. All right. We need... so first things first, I want an interview or like a promo is how it would be formatted. But, it's somebody sitting down with a black screen talking to camera, implying there's an interviewer there, but it's not really an interview.
Yep.
And this first one can be Chavo Guerrero.
Do you want it on anybody or just... Okay.
I don't think so, just for the purposes of the mechanics. 1 minute. Yeah.
Chavo talks championship scramble.
Yep.
Hype.
Yep.
Sure, Chavo. Go crazy.
This is after the first match.
Yep.
Then let's get a video hyping up that this November we're in Philadelphia for Survivor Series.
Who was the Survivor Series guy?
Bobby Lashley. Make sure you copy and paste the title into the description so we remember what it is.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Do you want me to write anything for that Chavo angle?
I have stuff. Maybe just write down like bullet points. Like,
Chavo talks about the championship scramble.
Sure, that's not going to help me, but you can write that if you want.
Yeah. No, I can go on further. Yeah. What's up?
I would format it like bullet points. I don't really want to give you the whole prose. So if you don't want to write this as bullet points, then you don't have to write it. I'll just remember it.
Okay, go ahead.
It would be like, talks about carrying SmackDown.
I was just wondering if I wanted to just write it.
Okay, talks about carrying SmackDown, talks about the growth SmackDown's had with him, talks about having to take every opportunity. He's perfect for a championship scramble match, and tonight he's getting back where he belongs.
And talks about how the championship scramble is perfect for him.
Cool. Let's show highlights of the Miz and Morrison feud so far for 1 minute.
Yep. You want to do all four there?
You can do, yeah. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Okay. How many minutes?
Just the one.
Yep.
Then after the tag match, let's get the Shawn Michaels promo.
Yep.
In this one, he is going to talk about how he's done everything the hard way all throughout his life. He's proved that he can do the improbable. But tonight he's going to fulfill his destiny by becoming the world champion again. And in that end, he doesn't want to do this the hard way. He's done enough things the hard way, so he's taking the easy option. He's going to enter last. No, he's not doing it again.
He's going to do it again?
Okay.
Oh, okay, you're right. You're right. Well, he's wrong, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, factually, yeah, this is correct. This is not what he's saying.
And I'll just say he's entering the scramble last.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we check the storyline for the scramble, actually, just to make sure it's good?
It's this one.
Yeah, that looks good to me. Sorry, I wasn't really looking at it. How hot was it? Hot. Okay. Maybe we could try and heat it up maybe with an idea, but we'll do that at the end.
You know what I'm never going to get to use?
The Rey Mysterio,
puts away a demon.
Potentially true. Okay. Can you just book in a filler angle for me real quick? I need to check something.
Yeah, our next Saturday Night's Main Event offering will be coming to you from San Antonio, Texas. We'll show Jeff Hardy.
Cool. the home of Shawn Michaels.
Real. I'll just do this. This is not a major enough angle.
Yep. Have we confirmed the title for that yet? Do you like the one that we've got in there?
I don't hate it.
Okay. Sounds like a no, which is okay. After the Shawn Michaels promo, I want to get down to the ringside. Yeah. And I want the three commentators to talk about Shawn's decision, and I want Bradshaw to call him a dumbass.
Based. What a moron, Michael.
But then Jim Ross is going to defend Shawn. He's going to be like, Shawn Michaels, I've seen him do some crazy things. And if there's anyone that I would back in, 5 minutes with all of the adrenaline and the crowd behind him when everybody else is tired, it's Shawn Michaels. I wouldn't write him out yet.
2?
I think 3. A little bit of extended conversation. Boring you, am I?
No. Just tired. The comms discuss Shawn's placement decision. JBL calls him dumb as fuck. JR defends him.
Yep. I guess Shawn Michaels should be off screen here.
Oh yeah, good call.
Generic.
Yeah.
This should go before the SNME ad. Yep. I want to go Shawn promo right into the ringside. We could actually, I think, move the SNME ad to the next section.
Yeah.
And then before the women's match, we could have... Actually, no, just add a second segment to that angle about Shawn. Because I think the comms are then just going to talk about... We're going to see a graphic, and then the comms will talk about... JR will talk about what's going on here. We can leave the word. I'm not sure I would use hype. Just be like, describes.
Describes women's match.
Yeah. Gives context for.
To run us through...
The context.
The context? I would say the feud.
Okay.
The feud behind Mickie James versus Beth Phoenix. Okay. Then I need a new part. Jim Ross is segment host. Mickie and Beth off screen.
Sure.
How long is this part?
A minute.
Yep.
Again, I wouldn't use the word hype. I would go generic.
Okay.
I don't... because he's not selling you the feud. He's just telling you it, right? It's like if an audiobook isn't hyping the book.
Right, but you're not reading the book. This is that doesn't work. It'd be as if you read a piece of paper that said at the front of the book that said this book's going to be really good. Then you'd be hyped.
But that's not what JR is doing. It's okay. I'll do it a different way then. An audiobook of a prelogue chapter that recaps the series before you start reading the new book isn't hyping the book.
Unless you had not read any of the previous books, then maybe it could be hyping the book.
In fact, I think that is the case in which it does the least to hype the book. Because then you're not really paying any attention to the book. You're trying to take in the history.
Of the book, though.
Yeah.
Which contributes to the book.
Yeah, but not to sell you the book.
You know all this context.
That's not what hype is. Hype is not making the thing better. It is making you want to watch the thing.
Right, but you want to watch the thing once you know the context of the thing.
Under that logic, every angle should be hype. Because every angle is adding to the context of a future match. Or
you want to know some crazy shit?
Yep.
I agree.
So then the
I
conclusion
think
to draw,
every angle
if you
could
don't
be hype.
if you don't back down here, I feel like the conclusion to draw should be that we will do hype for every angle from now on.
Which is why I will back down for the good of sanity. But
Well, that's not a good reason to back down.
I do believe that
Okay,
there
go
is
on.
an argument. I do believe that there's an argument that hype
No. Stop.
crosses.
I want to stop you
Okay.
there. I don't want to hear there is an argument. I want to hear your argument. So don't couch your language. Instead of saying, I believe there's an argument. I don't care. Who is anybody making that argument right now? I want your argument.
Most angles that we do on this,
Yeah.
I believe. No, fuck that. Not I believe. I know. I know that when I'm booking them, there is always a moment where I go, could be hype.
Then I think you are. I don't think your conception of hype is useful. What?
No, just the way that sounds very funny.
Okay.
No. Might
If
be
you-
fair.
If there is a category in which you are constantly thinking could apply, and this actually I've noticed this because you tend to use hype on fucking everything. And
I
it's
do.
like, but that's not what hype is for. You just said I do, like, yeah, and I stand by it, but I just don't think that's useful. What's the point of having a hype category if it applies to every angle? That is literally what the generic category is for.
Maybe,
Are you making
maybe,
the argument that the generic category is more specific than the hype one? When I believe in a dictionary or a thesaurus or whatever he does it, I believe you will find generic and specific as opposite ends of a spectrum.
I think to me, yeah, I think generic is pretty tight in terms of what it could be.
My God.
I know.
What do you mean, I know? That I know signifies you know it's a dumb thing to say.
I know that's wild as fuck.
How do you know that and yet you still say it?
Because to me, generic is nothing is progressing, nothing is being built towards, nothing is.
Why are we doing the angle?
Well, that's why it's generic.
No, why are we doing, like, why would we make an angle in which nothing is being progressed, nothing is being furthered, or there's nothing going on?
I guess you're right, because even in my, as I think about it, even in like the show intro kind of things with the commentators that I do in other saves and stuff like that, they run down the fucking show, which would be hype.
No, it would be generic.
Really,
You've
but
already bought the show.
Already bought the show. Yeah, but there's no. Do you think hype has to be them like
selling something? Yes, that is
selling
the exact
you on something
definition
quite literally.
of hype. Well, no, not literally, but at least, you know, but to some degree. If you are running down the show, I feel like it's that you are watching right now. I do not think that is hype. If you were not hyped for the show, you would not be watching the show.
Okay.
There is some degree that I will give you for television, where you are in the first hour of the show and we're hyping something up at the end of the show because the purpose of that is, yes, we recognize you might stop watching. I guess this is also television, but I see this more as a traditional event.
Should I remind you this is television? But yeah,
we don't produce these shows in the idea that someone might tune into this and then tune out, right? Or maybe, I mean, you do tell me.
I wouldn't imagine so. I would find it strange, honestly, if somebody didn't come to us through the weekly TV offerings and instead started here. But it could always happen. I mean, even so, actually, let me make the argument that on SNME, if we've done our job properly, we shouldn't need to hype up the main event because this is Saturday night's main event. Every match should be of sufficient quality that if you do jump in, like, you should be enjoying it anyway.
Whereas Raw's not like it. Raw might be like, oh shit, okay, well we got some women we really want you to see, but don't worry, later tonight Randy Orton's gonna wrestle. So don't tune off just because there's women.
Right.
That's a whole subcategory, though.
Okay.
Not to the main purpose of the point, which I would like to continue discussing.
I'm cool. I'm cool to call it generic.
It's not about cool to call it.
I know.
I don't know. I can't. I'm not seeing your perspective here.
Well, no, I think you are seeing my perspective. You just don't agree with it.
Could you summarize it for me?
Like, it would be the idea that hype generates excitement for something.
Intentionally or otherwise.
Yeah. Like, I mean...
So an angle that is not designed... Because this is not an angle that is designed to create excitement for the match. But it might accidentally do so, and you would still categorize it as hype.
Okay, maybe that's specifically a me thing, where I'm like getting the rundown of the feud and the stuff like that builds some excitement for the match, to me at least.
No, okay.
So maybe that's a me thing.
No, wait. What you just said perfectly fits into what I said. You see that, right?
Yeah.
What you just described is something accidentally creating hype.
Yes, okay, I can see that.
Jim Ross is not standing up and going, come on, folks, we got this massive match up next.
We're going.
Yeah. So don't tune away, because we're going to see two women in a Falls Count Anywhere match. It's going to be absolutely... It's a very big difference between that and here is the feud, and this is why it is happening.
Do you think then that hype has to be that kind of... I guess, yeah, because then otherwise it could be everything. You're right.
Yeah, I thought... I know you didn't reach the end of that question, but my answer would have been, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, hype has to be a hype angle. An angle which is designed to create hype.
Yeah, I didn't finish it because I was going to say, do you think a hype angle is something that explicitly is trying to hype me up for something funny? And then I was like,
and
oh, yeah, because then it would be everything.
Matter, but I think it's an important, like... what's the word? I can't think of it at the moment, but language. It's an important language thing. It's like we have these categories for a reason, and I think you agree with me on this, is that you can't just randomly categorize stuff, otherwise what's the point of even using the feature, right? We have to have you might as well clear... You should put everything as generic.
Well, or if you were just playing the game, you just set it to something different every single angle, that way you absolutely get the bonus for the varied angles and stuff like that.
Maybe, once we figure that out a bit. I couldn't comment on that because I still don't really know how it works.
I get it all the time in this one save, and I've never seen it in this save. I don't know what it is, but
yeah.
So maybe it's a product thing. I don't know.
So because I think that obviously it doesn't matter, but because I think about it, when I see you randomly putting hype on a bunch of angles, it bothers me. But it also is one of those things where it's like, if I brought it up every time, I would feel really pedantic about it. But that means that I'd rather have this conversation and hopefully change your mind about what hype means.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't want you to walk away thinking, all right, I'll just put generic and then I'll still think what I think. Fuck putty. Like it's
No, I think...
Because then that won't change anything. We'll be back here in a month with you setting hype, and you having go, oh, he's at me. The guy. I thought I appeased him a month ago. You know what I mean? Like,
I thought this was done. God damn it!
I thought I could go back to just doing the thing he didn't like.
I thought it'd been enough time, and he won't notice anymore.
Which actually, I mean, that last part that might happen. Who knows? But
no, I think that's fair, and I think that's good for even like my personal stuff. Because as I've said, I've struggled with this a little bit, because I genuinely have been at a point where I'm like, fuck, everything in this is fucking hype or storyline development, and is storyline development. Well, shit, like fuck yeah. Even as I fucking explore that a little bit more in my brain, I'm like, they're the same fucking thing to me. Before this conversation and stuff like that.
This one's a bit more tricky, and I think storyline development is more generic than hype is. But for me, I think an angle should only be storyline development if there is a storyline development, if the story has progressed in some way, if the circumstances of the story has changed. If Randy Orton attacks Ted DiBiase, even though they're both in a storyline, that's not a storyline development. Because what have we learned? Randy Orton doesn't like Ted DiBiase. We knew that already, right? That's not a storyline development. It's the same thing with character development, which I think you put on a lot of things. For me, I only like a character development category if we have learned something new about the character in question, right? So if Chavo Guerrero says, I want to win the World Heavyweight Championship tonight, that's not a character development angle. We've known that for years. But if he... Go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, so the way I think I've been thinking of things and stuff like that is every single angle in wrestling has a place in one of these, where I think in the reality of it...
Can I stop you there and say...
Sure, go ahead.
That there's something iffy about what you've just said for me, because one of those categories is generic. Because one of those categories is generic, any angle in the history of wrestling, television, books, cinema, the Roman Colosseum fits into one of these categories. Because if it doesn't fit into any of the others, that's what generic is for.
And that's what my point here is going to be.
Okay.
I've been attempting to best fit any angle I've booked in this game into one of these, keeping generic for things that are very much the commentators discuss something or whatever.
That example feels like it doesn't work because in 99% of the scenarios, I feel like you'd put hype on that angle. Because if they're discussing anything relevant, you would feel that's hype, right? If they're discussing a match, surely that's hype. Or if they're discussing an angle, surely that's hype, right?
Yes, because to me, the idea of generic is both negative inherently.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We heard that earlier. Yeah.
And it means nothing's happening, which would never happen on a wrestling show.
Not on purpose, anyway.
Yes.
For the most part. I think some of the most most generic angles that would fit your description are actually ones I might lean more towards hype. It's the we're selling t-shirts, it's the we're selling tour shows, right? Like that, nothing's really happening, but we are selling you something.
Yep.
That's one where I struggle with. If you're so this is one area I still struggle with hype. If the thing that you're hyping is just a product, is that really hype? Is anyone?
I know.
Even if they're going to go out there and buy a t-shirt, are they really hyped about doing so? I'm not sure.
Because that's what I was just going to say. I'm like, is hype literally selling somebody something, or is it generating excitement?
Well, I think it's selling the product. It's making you want to watch
or
something specific, or to buy. But I think it's more often to watch.
Right,
again,
but
this is important. People don't get hyped up to buy anything, right?
No,
even people who spend a lot of money, right? They're hyped about the thing they're going to watch because they bought it.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Fuck.
Like, you're not hyped to spend money at the cinema. You're hyped to go watch the movie.
Yes, that's fair.
Yeah.
So then, hype is almost always generating excitement. So then I'm not sure if it does work with the t-shirt thing. Because who's getting super excited to get a t-shirt?
I think that might end up being a generic angle, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think that Survivor Series ad is hype.
I would agree, because I'm attempting to get you to buy the show.
Yeah. And be excited about it.
Yes, and more importantly, actually, I'm trying to get you excited for the show so you buy it. Actually,
yes,
that's the better way to put that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Where, like, for a t-shirt or something like that, I'm not sure I can get you excited about a t-shirt, but I can sell you one.
Yeah.
I wish there were short definitions for these content types, man.
I tell you what, it would make it more. It would be helpful, but it wouldn't fix the problem. We would still be having these sorts of conversations.
I'm sure we would, because whatever it was, we probably would not find satisfactory enough.
Indeed.
We'd be like, we have to kind of headcanon these anyways. What are these? How do they work?
I am kind of interested in, and it sounds like you might find value in us making our own short descriptions,
Like
of these
set
categories.
definitions.
Yeah.
I think I probably agree, because to me at least, Putty knows this better than anybody. My opinions on anything change day to day, depending on how I wake up. So yeah, quite literally, like there might be a day where I'm like, oh, this angle for sure is hype. Where the next day I'll be like, it's probably generic, and I just flip flop on those two, whatever I feel like more.
That happens to me too, and I honestly, obviously, very difficult just using a memory. But I feel like in this game, maybe I've been the one more likely to change my mind on these things, because you've had some very strict definitions on these categories from the start, like hype. I feel like,
I've just had my interpretation of them. Yeah.
So yeah, something to look at. But for now, I think the way I'd like to leave this conversation, and you can tell me if you want to disagree or want to change but hype is, I think I like the way you put it. It's making you excited about something that's happening in the future so that you're more likely to buy it or watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this sort of like before the match thing is never going to do that, right? Because if you're watching, I go back to my book example, which I felt was good, but it really didn't land with you, of like, if you're reading a recap of the series before you start on the newest book, you've already decided to read the book. You're just getting the context you need to enjoy it. And it's the same with this sort of angle, where it's like, the only reason you would watch this JR thing is because you're about to watch Mickie James versus Beth Phoenix. You've already decided to watch the match. You just might need a little bit of a recap as to why it's happening, and so that you can enjoy the match more.
Yeah, I'm sold on that.
Okay. What did we end up putting on as generic? Because that's
generic,
what I would probably go for. Yeah. Well, can I get a look at the categories again? Just at the end of that conversation, I'm just curious what I think. So serious is more serious is more nebulous, I feel like. So, actually, because there's one thing you didn't agree with at the start. Do you agree that if it just doesn't fit into these categories, it just is generic, right?
That was what my realization here was, actually. I was like, maybe a lot more of these should be generic.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
That should at least be the default, right? Unless you can make an argument for one of the others, I just go generic, yeah.
And the way I've been looking at the whole time, as I've said, is like, which one of the, like, which does this fit best? Where it should
including generic, yeah.
Yeah, where it should be, yes, not thinking of generic as a separate thing outside of all these other ones that takes up everything that these are not. I was like, well, generic is
a category in equal value to the others, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas for me, all of these categories, like I said, these categories are specific. And so generic is in natural opposition to all of them for me.
And I've just come to that. So yeah, I'm like, oh.
So I think we're going to have a longer process on defining these, but just as a rough idea, I'm looking through like serious. That's one of the more nebulous ones, but I feel like we've got a nice spot where it's like, ooh, something serious is happening, like a bad attack.
Yeah, I think in the context, so I believe at least some of these are meant to be tied together, like tease and surprise, character and storyline development. So I'm thinking, now that I'm looking at it, serious and comedy are probably meant to be tied together to some degree, like as in they are the opposite of one another.
I think that's reasonable, although the difficulty going down that path is I feel like we end up calling everything that's not comedy serious, because comedy is the minority thing there.
Because I was like, well, the only thing I could think of where that would be actually how that works would be in a company like a PWG or something like that. You know what I mean? Where suddenly something very serious occurring is remarkable. You know what I mean? It's notable.
I see what you mean. Outside of comedy feds, the serious note has no use. It's used in comedy feds to denote that, much like we would use comedy to denote that this is a comedy angle. In those, it feels like that's not what you're saying, but it's kind of unlocked in my head now that might be how it should be used.
Well, no, I was saying that, but maybe that's only in the context of a company like that, because all of this is fully out there, man. You can take this however you want. So I would say in that situation, maybe those two are tied together. In our situation, it probably is just like a serious brawl or a serious attack or something major.
I feel like you've unintentionally done this, but I like the way you've said it there, where actually in our company we just don't use it. Like if you think about the way we use the comedy note, right? That to me feels like the way it should be used. That serious is just there for comedy feds.
Serious is the default, probably.
Yes, but also like
not using it, but yeah.
Yes, okay, yeah. No, then I'm with it. For me, I'm finding it hard to describe, but it's like serious is the comedy note for comedy feds. It is for this minority of angles in which it is different than the norm.
Yes.
Okay.
Because otherwise, but then I guess my argument might be otherwise it would just be generic, right? But I guess then you need to have the comedy one in there for the other situations.
Yeah.
Like for the other types of companies, I guess to mean to say.
For most companies.
For most companies, yes.
Yeah. So then hype we've gone over. Tease, I forgot tease was in there. I was thinking, in the whole hype conversation we had, I was thinking about foreshadowing, but I didn't think about tease. And I'm now it's one of those where it's like, I feel like tease is very easily like, it's like a mini hype to me. It's like, here's what you can look forward to really soon. And it's not about like selling you on it, but it's just about keeping you, it's about teasing you. It's about keeping you kind of on the hook, right?
Would you also say though, there's something there to teasing like a turn?
Yeah.
Where there wouldn't be an immediate payoff to that, but you could still tease the turn, and that would be the content type.
Problem is my head goes to a lot of those angles being character development angles, so could you give me an example?
Okay, I see you there. Maybe they could all be character development angles. But if the action itself is not occurring, if the development isn't occurring, we're just seeing the cogs kind of turning initially, would that not be a tease? Or would that be foreshadowing?
So
I think tease and foreshadowing are too similar, maybe. Okay, which means maybe then I abandon my interpretation of tease, go with yours, and put that all in foreshadowing.
I definitely think what you're describing sounds a lot more like foreshadowing to me than tease.
Yeah. I've just... Well, because I was like, why are both of these here? If they're functionally the exact same in my brain. I'm like, because they're not supposed to be. Tease is supposed to be probably what you said, and foreshadowing is what I'm thinking tease is.
Yeah, I think the problem. So one of the things I'm still thinking, like in the angle you're describing, where it's like cogs are going in this guy's head, I keep thinking to myself, surely the purpose of this angle is something different, right? Like something else is going on in this angle that would actually be the subject. But wait. But I came around to it that actually, in the circumstance in which the main feature of this angle is this foreshadowing, then it's what you might call teasing a turn, right? Then actually, yeah, I could see that being a foreshadowing angle. If like the main purpose of this is, oh shit, I wonder what that means. We're going to find out later.
It would probably depend on if the instigating instance, yeah, all right. The instigating event is it? This is weird. Is it happening anyways, I guess is the best way to say it? Was this event only created so we could get that moment where we see the cogs turn a bit?
Right.
Then I think maybe the content type, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Okay, cool. As long as cool.
I think just it's what's the main purpose of the angle, right? We're on the same page on that one?
Yeah, what's the driving force? Did we create this event for this angle just so we could see for a second, oh, wait, that might happen down the road?
Yeah. Cool. All right. And then, so yeah, the tease, I think surprise we've got pretty much done. And then we talked about character and storyline development already. All right.
So essentially, what I would have been using, what I will now start using generic for, I think, is a lot of the stuff that I was putting in these two before.
That's fair, and I agree.
Because this to me was just like, two guys do an angle, one guy does an angle. Like,
right, yes.
There's obviously a different situation for that, like, mitigating circumstances and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
To me, that's how it initially was, where it was just like, well, this is one guy doing a thing, and then this is probably affecting multiple guys.
Right. Yes. Okay. Cool. Well, I think we've had this conversation about it before, but maybe just piecemeal, where I say why I think something's not storyline development, and then we just sort of move on. But yeah, for me, it's very specifically like, do we learn something new about the character? Does something actually happen in the storyline?
And yeah, now that generic exists to me,
yes, I see what you mean.
As it does. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, those can all get shoved back over there. Perfect.
Cool. All right. All that to say, I think this is still a generic angle.
The 1 minute. Oh wait. Shut up, you guys. I wanted to make sure I had that on the right part because they're both generic. Yeah, cool. We're good. We're good.
I agree. Okay. Well, not to go back to it, but I feel like that first part there could be an argument for both character and storyline development in the first part of that angle, because we're learning about the scramble and how it works and that Shawn's interaction with it, and then we're also learning about how JBL feels about Shawn Michaels.
Okay, my argument there would be, I don't think comms develop.
I strongly disagree.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, JBL's going to get out of that booth and fight someone at some point. I'm just going to warn you for that. That's going to happen.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Then maybe that is different to me.
Michael Cole wants to be a friend of JBL. That's something I've been pushing since he came in.
I can tell.
Jim Ross and Steve Austin have a clear relationship. Steve Austin has a clear relationship with many people on the roster.
Okay. That's fair. Yep.
Yeah, I know you kind of want them to be non-canon observer audience members, and I understand your logic there, but I think it's impossible for them not to be characters in the show.
I think that's probably fair. Yes.
They can be both. Well, they can't be non-canon audience members, but they can be your vision into the world while they're also part of the world, they just have to be part of the world. I don't think there's any way they cannot be.
And also the way that... Yeah, and it's different, I think, specifically for JBL, because he's a character where I don't give a fuck learning about what Michael Cole feels. Like, he can say what he feels, and that can inform me, but I don't, like...
Okay.
I'm not interested in him thinking things.
This is a really fascinating conversation, and I want to keep having it. But in order to do that, you're good to stream tomorrow, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, in order to do that, I think we need to accept that we're recording this tomorrow because I'm running a little close to my out. I mean, I was thinking about rushing it through, but now that you've brought that up, I think this is an interesting enough conversation to have that I'd rather push the record back to tomorrow, and maybe we do a SmackDown and Raw 2, depending on what we look at, and just have this conversation instead, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Okay. I find that, so first things first, I'm not going to disagree with you, I'm just going to interrogate that position first. You don't give a fuck what Michael Cole thinks. However, you think he is your proxy into the world. You want the audience to have a relationship with Michael Cole.
You're right on calling that out immediately. Because the moment I said it as well, I was like, that's not entirely what I want to say, because what Michael Cole thinks doesn't matter.
Again, in the interest of continuing this conversation, I'm going to go get a drink, but I will still be able to hear you, so continue.
Okay. Well, damn. Okay. I was also going to grab it.
Oh, okay.
No. So I was just like, damn, okay, I can't. Okay, that's fine. Because, yeah, I do obviously want people to care what Michael Cole and Jim Ross, I think both the play-by-plays are included in this to me. I care what they think. I just don't... I don't know if there's, like, the development there. Like... Is learning what somebody thinks about something enough of a bar to say that they've changed or we've learned more about them enough to overcome like a generic or something like that? Because JBL is a little bit different because, like, as you've said, he's going to go back in the ring, and even if he wasn't, to a certain degree, being a color guy, he's more of a character anyways than a straight announcer.
So I got two things.
Yeah.
First things first, I think slight difference to clear up. I don't think character development angles need to be the character developing always. I just think it needs to be our understanding of the character developing. So if we learn,
that's fair.
If we learn something new about a character, that could be something that hasn't changed ever. Like if we learn about Chavo Guerrero's great aunt, who's had a really big impact on his life, I think that's a character development angle because it's changing the character in our eyes. But he's always had this great aunt, right?
Yep. Okay.
That's kind of different to the point, though, because you also just made the point that people don't need to develop and announcers don't need. And I do agree with that. Characters don't need to develop. They absolutely do not. We had this discussion before. I think some of the best characters in history are like one-dimensional characters, and when you start to try and develop them and stuff, it makes them worse. However, my instinct is with an announcer like Jim Ross or Michael Cole, who you're going to spend 10 plus years with, I think it would be weird for those people not to develop in that time when you're seeing them every week for 10 years.
Like, what would you call the development?
They're growing up. They're seeing new things. They're interacting with the world and people. Like, there's so much that could change. Like, Jim Ross might have hated a heel 10 years ago, and then there was an arc where he became a valiant babyface, and it took him a while, but then he was like, you know what? This guy's turned his page. I like him now. And that completely changes the way he commentates his matches. I think that's a character development for Jim Ross.
And even in my weird archaic view on commentators that doesn't really exist anymore, how I think of commentators doesn't exist anymore. Not that the way I think doesn't exist. Just to make that clear. I've totally abandoned all my positions in about 10 seconds there. I would say, it would certainly be important for that change, especially in the viewpoint of the commentators being a window into the reality of it. Because if their opinions are changing, that is actually ultra important because it lets you as a fan know how you're maybe supposed to feel about things. Or
that changing your opinion on characters is, because that's actually a good point, is it's modeling thinking in a way, because it's like, oh, if JR can trust this guy who he used to hate, then I can too.
I've spent 10 years watching professional wrestling with JR calling it. I know this guy's got my back. He's gonna tell me how it is. If he says he's a good guy, then all right, he's a good guy now.
I think a cool example to bring up is someone like JBL, who I feel like if you have him as a defined character, you can trust JBL in that sometimes he's going to be talking about a guy and it's going to be bullshit, but in this area he knows what he's talking about, right? So I think that is important. So that's why I think I started with interrogating your viewpoint, but I think we've basically gotten to mine through this conversation, which is that I think it's ultra important that the good commentators have a character. I think that, like, one of the problems with guys of this era, like Josh Matthews or Todd Grisham or even Matt Stryker in his WWE run, is that they were just like faceless dudes calling moves. And it's like that's not the best commentators aren't that. The best commentators are guys with opinions and expertise, who are part of the world in that they believe what they're watching is real. That's really important to me as well. But they're also fans of the show, like you are. And I think having a character is really important. And they're all, and in some ways, they have to have a character because Jim Ross, the person, doesn't believe that match is real. But Jim Ross, the commentator, has to. And I know that's a very basic thing, but in some extent, that there has to be a difference between Jim Ross, the person, and Jim Ross, the character. Even though that's minor, but, that is a thing.
What would you... It's interesting, because I see all that stuff for JR.
Yeah.
Then I turn back over to Michael Cole.
I see... Oh, sorry, yeah, go on. I wanted to listen first.
Outside of the bad heel stuff, has he ever had much of a character?
I like to think so. I'm just going to say, first of all, is your question in real life, in this save, or both?
Both, I guess, yeah, but...
In real life, I would have to...
In In the save, maybe less so. I think maybe we've humanized Michael a little bit. He wants to be friends with people, and that's
and he
that's
cares
enough.
about. He loves wrestling. He cares about wrestling. He's really knowledgeable about wrestling, right? Like I think that those are all parts of Michael Cole's character. I think are important.
I think something else that might be a thing, maybe not has ever been mentioned, but I mean he's been here the whole time. I think he also cares a lot about SmackDown. You know what I mean?
I was going to say that. Completely agree.
Yeah. Like I think Michael Cole would tell you to your face that we've been the A show the whole time. It just has taken a little while for y'all to figure it out.
And in that respect, maybe this isn't as obvious either, but we can infer that he probably really likes cruiserweight wrestling as well, right? And there's probably part of his commentary that reflects that as well. Like, he's like, oh my God, like, you can't see this anywhere else. And I'm sure that's a company line, but I think Michael Cole really believes that.
I got hit with just like shaking my head, just like, yeah, man, Michael Cole over like 03, 04 cruiserweight division. That's some good shit. That's before his spirit is crushed.
I think and that's another point, is that obviously in real life there's a lot less, like SmackDown is an environment for Michael Cole. Like I think everyone's come around to the idea that Michael Cole is quite good, but I think we can all admit that there was a period in which he was quite bad. But like a lot of that wasn't necessarily his skills, it was just the role he was playing.
He was consistently asked to do
stupid shit.
Yeah, stupid shit, and even then, he's consistently been asked to do a lot as well, when you can think about the people he's been paired with since that kind of stuff. Like, he's got, like, Jerry Lawler, or it's Layfield, older Layfield, who, I like older JBL, but he's also just gonna randomly go off on tangents sometimes, and you're like, okay, man, whatever the fuck that was about. Like that's not helpful to the show at all.
I think JBL's really good, but I agree that he's sort of not in it for himself. But I think you're right. Sometimes he gets in a little bit, and he does things that aren't for the benefit of the show just because he wants to. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
So back to your point about Michael Cole, does he have a character? I mean, I think we on the last thing, because we mentioned the SmackDown thing, I think, I don't know what happened in real life, I don't really remember, but I think if our Michael Cole does get drafted to Raw at some point, then we will have some angles where he's like, I don't really like this. I'd rather stay on SmackDown. That's where I belong.
Don't have any small guys moving fast. I don't like this here.
And then we could do little things because we do have some cruiserweights on Raw where Michael Cole likes those people. You know, we don't explain it, but he's just, you know, even if they're heels, he's like, I kind of like that guy. You know, we know it's a subtext that like it's because he likes cruiserweights.
Michael Cole is Mike Tenay vision. This is coming. Mike Tenay, I'd just hire you if I could. The
unfortunate thing is, because of my recent research, that I'm more leaning towards the other direction. Like I checked when I think his Earl Hebner's contract is up to make sure he gets his TNA run, you know, just to so yeah.
09 would be a little more beaten down today. Any thoughts on him there?
I hate Don West. I know that's not what you asked, but
that's terrible.
Sorry. Yeah, he wasn't very good.
Yeah. Damn.
He also completely. Also, I think this is Tenay I'm thinking of. At some point, Don West wants to see a replay, and Tenay rips it into him. Like, don't tell the crew in the back how to do their job, you asshole. I'm like, okay, that's just not something I need to hear on my comms by, guys. Like, it's not serving the show in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, the TNA, the West and Tenay dynamic specifically is two dudes watching wrestling.
I can see that. I can see that.
Mike Tenay knows everything ever about professional wrestling. Don West had never watched professional wrestling before being hired with TNA. So what you get is Don West freaks out about everything because it's genuinely the first time in his life he's ever seen anything like this before. And Mike Tenay's just like, yeah, dog, this happened like in 1983, like 4 times. You know, this is how it is sometimes.
This vibe of two guys sitting down watching wrestling, I could see how that team could achieve it, and I could see it being good. My problem, I think, then, the reason why it struck me as so bad when I've been watching it is because TNA's production quality by 2009 is actually very strong. and so it feels like it's meant to be like a mainstream national wrestling product. And like you said, I just don't think two dudes being bros on the comms is the right vibe for that.
Which is
Progress nailed that. Early Progress is two dudes being guys on the comms, and it works because it's like it feels like I'm watching a pirated tape from the mid 2000s. You know?
That's awesome,
right? So yeah,
yeah, and I mean, I think TNA probably also sensed that issue because they'll pack Don West up here in a couple weeks anyways and bring in Taz. So,
which I'm sure is better
depending
for
on where you are in 09.
that. Yeah,
It's better for a short amount
I started
of time.
in December accidentally, and then went back to January. Now I'm at Slammiversary, so you know there's a bit of a mix up.
It's better for a short amount of time, and then Taz gets really bored, and it gets
Understandable.
really rough.
Well, the problem
Taz
is, I feel like
just
I feel like the product as a whole is about to go into the fucking toilet. So you know,
yes, there's not a lot for Taz to, so really he gets there, and he's pretty good for like I think a couple months, and then he settles into the meme Taz that I came into wrestling knowing, where it's like this guy fucking kind of sucks, and now I'm like. Taz has been great everywhere he's gone. He was just a really bad company for a while.
I just envision
much.
Taz watching Final Destination or Final Resolution, whatever that show's called, and seeing Christopher Daniels versus AJ Styles as the main event. Like, oh shit, yeah, this is where it's at. He sits down to commentary, and Hulk Hogan comes out, and he's like, what
the hell? Hulk Hogan, and here comes Eric Bischoff, and they've brought back the Nasty Boys. It's 2010. It's 2010.
Is that Ric Flair?
Yeah. Oh my god, it's Val Venus. It's 2010. It's 2010. Like, what the hell?
True. So in real life, I don't know about. I'd say late
Michael Cole. Yeah,
late Cole. I think, but it depends on what you mean by character. Because you know me, Tucker. I can be very, very generic and very loose with. So like Michael Cole, the wrestling expert journalist, to me is a character, and that's pretty much what he's been ever since the heel turn ended. Thank you for the subscription, Weber. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's pretty much what Michael Cole's been ever since the heel turn ended, which is just like this guy knows a lot about wrestling, and he's a journalist, and he's like the voice of the WWE, and that is to me a character.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, and I think I do. I'm definitely hesitant initially to be like that's his character because you know what I mean. And it is though. Like it is 1,000%.
Can I interestingly strike a contrast between what I just described of Michael Cole, who I think does have a character despite not having character, versus Corey Graves, who I think has a lot of character, but I wouldn't say has ever had a character on the main roster as a commentator. He's just sort of a dude.
He is very much a dude. He is very much a dude. And yeah.
Or hell, maybe I'll throw Mauro Ranallo, who I don't know. I think you hate, or you go back and forth, but I think you hate him at the moment. And I like Mauro, but I don't love him. Right? He's a guy who doesn't have a character anywhere he goes. He's just him. He's just the guy. He's just IRL Mauro Ranallo.
Unfortunately, it's past like or dislike for me with Mauro. I think his commentary is cringe, and I think he's cringe, and he makes me cringe, and I can't. That's it. That's all it is with him, and it's unfortunate because there are times where I'm like, yeah, this guy is really good. I know what he's talking about. And then he'll spout off a Mamma Mia and talk about the new Drake album and reference that. And I'll never ever forget that one time where in NXT some dude did a suicide dive, rolled back in the ring, did another suicide dive, and Mauro said, "Oh, back to back like Drizzy Drake," and I was like, "End my life." Like, yeah, just like I'm done. Actually, pack this up. We're leaving. Like it's over. I think. Some of that as well, to me, would be knowing when you go back and you watch earlier, like, 90s Raws and stuff like that. There's a lot of, like, pop culture shit in that absolutely doesn't land because it's 30 years ago now. And you're just like, okay, this is fucking stupid. And I always think anytime Mauro makes a reference like that, I'm thinking to myself, he's dated this show.
Yes.
He's dated this show. Like, fuck. Like, it's supposed to be like the best wrestling is to a certain degree timeless. Yeah, like I can I can jump into 80s NWA and I don't feel like I'm a fish out of water because they're like, oh man, how about that Farrah Fawcett? Am I right? Like, no, nobody fucking is saying anything like that.
It's part of the reason why I like going back and watching older wrestling way more now. Like, it's been like 10 years since that's my main form of watching wrestling. Part of it is it's all there, right? So you know where to go and you know what to look at and you know where the scenes are and you know when something's like, you don't have to get disappointed when it doesn't like finish because you know it wasn't going anywhere anyway.
It didn't finish. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And you can take it on its face for what it is, right? But also, like you say, you can look and there is some stuff sometimes when you're in it and it's happening where you're like, this is the greatest shit ever. And then 5 years later, it's like, that really was meh. And there's something to being in that mosh pit. Like, look, fun is fun. If you're having fun doing something like that isn't actually that good, whatever, man, enjoy it. But like, I enjoy like the idea of going into it with a clear head and being like, okay, well, how good actually was it? I think some of the Bray Wyatt's work, you know, rest his soul, is a good example of this, where if you're in it, it's probably amazing. But like, go back and watch any of the Fiend stuff now, and I'm telling you, it doesn't hold up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'll never hear an argument from me about that.
No, well, now anymore.
That's true. Yeah, you will not hear my argument for that really anymore. That's absolutely true. I just kind of, I'm sad for the people who really liked him.
Yeah, true.
That's literally like my only thoughts on it, because it seems like he had like a real connection with people who I think.
Oh, I want to clarify quickly that when I said not anymore, I meant that you used to make good, a lot of arguments in his favor.
Oh, okay.
All. Just that you changed your mind. Not.
Okay.
Not that. I assume you took the implication to be that he's not producing content anymore, which that's not the implication.
No. My
Okay.
my thing was, my thinking was, since he's been gone, I've probably been less outwardly harsh about things, because I turned on him almost fully by the end, where I was just like, this dude is actually the death of wrestling. Get him away from me.
Yeah, that's
and I don't vocalize that anymore for obvious reasons. Glad he got to do some cool stuff and people enjoyed
that. Company was such a mess at that point as well that he didn't do it. So I know, actually, you just made the implication you think he did do some harm. We don't have to go into it. My argument would be that he didn't really do any harm because of how fucked the place was anyway. So
quite honestly, I don't think they let him do that much harm. I think they kept a lid on him.
Understandable,
for the most part. They didn't let it spill out too badly. I mean, it definitely did. Like the Orton stuff twice. The Alexa Bliss stuff. There are definitely people who got hurt in what he was doing, but I think you're right in terms of they did their best. They put the belt on him one time, instantly realized, fuck, what have we done? This is a dumb move. Why did we do this? And then they tried their best to try to work it back, but once the bloom is off the rose, right? It's kind of just like, shit, how do we rework this? And then they spent ages trying to rework him. This was not a conversation about Bray Wyatt.
No. I think do you want to go back? I don't know if we have anything else to say, but do you want to go back to the commentary thing? Like, what's our conclusions there?
I mean, it would just be that, they do. Like, you know what I mean? They do, and those thoughts do matter. Which is interesting, because I do still kind of feel like, to a certain degree, it's just, I guess it's still character development, it's just not major. It's just not remarkable. Like, if we find out that Michael Cole thinks, JR thinks Sean can do it, because Sean's his boy, it's like,
that's interesting. You bring that. That's not the character development, because I kind of agree. We probably assumed that was Jared's take, right? For me, it's just like John's a new commentator who we haven't heard from a lot, and like this big, like, this guy is a dumbass is like a demonstration that John is willing to call people dumbasses and does not like Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, and I think there was something there as well to me saying, character is the word I use in my head, but it's not. It's like, I don't know, because it's not quite character I'm talking about, but he's a personality, I guess I mean to say, that is in this role. He's not so much a commentator. Does that make any sense?
I think I understand what you're saying.
His thoughts on things, I think, are a lot more impactful because he's not resigned himself to commentary. Like, he doesn't want to be there. He's not just calling the action. He's angling.
Yeah, so I completely understand what you're saying. And I think in a lot of ways you're just factually correct, descriptively correct. My argument would be that I don't think it should be that way, and we should care as much, if not more, about what Michael Cole and Jim Ross think as JBL and Steve Austin, because Michael Cole and Jim Ross are our anchors, right? They're like the voice of the show. They're the window. If the commentator, I know you say that both of the commentators are, but like the play-by-play, especially people like I guess it's Cole at this point because JR's had some time away from the booth on Raw, but like Cole is our vehicle with which to experience SmackDown. So I think Cole is arguably the most important character on the show, because we can talk about Chavo and Trish and Kevin Nash and all, but like Cole was there before they were, right? Cole's been there for ages
and
now.
And also, like, I mean, I can expand that even more so to, like, if Michael Cole fucks up the delivery on something,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? It can affect the whole angle. You know what I mean? Like, he has to always be on, or else something can drop the ball that wouldn't have otherwise, and it is on him.
Out of anybody on the show, this is kind of a sequitur, but out of everybody on the show, if Michael Cole says something, he is one out of everybody that we believe. Like, Michael Cole's word is almost law on SmackDown. Like, if he tells us Rey Mysterio has been taken to a medical facility, we can trust that that's true. And that's...
Yes.
Yeah, he's like the narrator. But I guess that leads into the non-character thing. But he's like the narrator that we know. He's like the bedtime story reader,
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm like, he's both a narrator and he's all of a
tour guide,
a narrator, an analyst, and a friend. Like,
I really, and this is something you might have noticed. I don't know if you noticed it explicitly, but I'm really keen on interviewers and commentators being like journalists. Like, they are there to find out information or to analyze the product, right? They're there to find out information and convey it to the audience, right?
Yes.
So like Michael Cole, in a commentary position, it's like Michael Cole understands wrestling better than anybody and is going to help us understand what is happening.
Yes. He's going to give you, like the information you need to properly appreciate what is going on in front of you.
Or sometimes not even appreciate, sometimes just even understand, right? Like you might be in the middle of like a grapple fuck fest, and without Michael Cole, the uninformed viewer might not even understand who's winning. Michael Cole's got to tell you.
Yeah, and I think I'm not actually, so I think there's also like a WWE, maybe not just WWE, maybe it's Sportsent, but it's like a very specific thing with that as well, where with the product, how do I say this? The WWE assumes its audience are really fucking dumb, and
That's
they
true.
need somebody to hold their hand. And I don't think anybody needs that, and that's not necessarily what I ever intend that role to be. When I say it's somebody to be like a bit of a window through the whole thing, it is genuinely to give context to those who don't know or whatever. It's just because as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I if I was booking some other company, a different style, you wouldn't necessarily need that, I guess to say. Okay. Thank you, Norton. That's cool. That was weird. What the fuck was that? Okay, thanks. See you around. Um,
I
yeah,
I just want to mention that I think the audience thing is an interesting one where I understand how that can sometimes be harmful to a product. My pie in the sky argument would be that the version of the product that's booked for the lowest common denominator and the version of the product that's booked for the person who's really paying attention and really knowledgeable can be the same thing, and in an ideal world is the same thing. It's like those angles I say sometimes where it's like, we've got subtext here, but we don't need to be blatant about it. And if people miss it, people miss it. And that's fine. But some
and the
people
WWE and McMahon specifically are concerned about people missing something. He wants you to get all of the little things that he's doing here.
I think they take it too far sometimes, but I do think there's value in if there's chances that people miss the essential underlying point of the feud to, in a natural and sort of subtle way, make sure that continues to be reinforced.
Yep. No, it's something that I've been thinking about lately myself and stuff like that with how I think about producing wrestling. And it's like, because it's in the way that I've pitched angles and stuff like that to you, where you will tell me to pull back on something or not be as overt about something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's realizing that the very hand-holding nature of WWE is genuinely a dude making art and being like, I want everybody to fucking realize how cool this thing is that we're doing, so they don't miss it. They don't miss any part of this. Like they need to, and the WWE isn't doing like large scale, big brain crazy shit.
Yeah.
Ever really. Let alone at this point in time. But I do think I see now a little bit more that it's not just so much like, oh, the fans are all morons, so we have to hold their hand the entire way through. It's a little bit more, I think, of Vince's own anxieties about maybe something won't come across or people won't get something or they won't get what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
And so I have to beat them over the head with it to ensure that everybody knows what we're doing here and why we're doing this and what's happening. And I think sometimes it's weird once you get away from the WWE and how ham-fisted they are with that type of thing. I think of like AEW or something like that where they don't do that ever. And so everything feels very disjointed and some things don't seem to have a purpose. And maybe they do and you just yourself have missed it. Or maybe there literally was no point because they don't care. They don't care. But I think there's definitely like a medium to be found there where like you can keep things organized and fed through and where people can see the lines and where things are going without it being like putting flashing lights all around the line, being like, there's a line here, look, whoa.
And I think we should draw this conversation to a close soonish so we can finish booking the show before we get off. But I want to say that I think this also comes down in some ways though to this Discord we've always had where you're much more focused on narrative and I'm much more focused on a fake sport, because I think for me some of the things you're describing about some promotions being disjointed, you're probably right, but I also get this like flashing warning when you talk where I'm like, why does there need to be a point? They're just wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, not everything needs to feed into each other. It's just these two had a match and one of them won because this is a sport. And that's where my brain mostly goes to a lot of the time.
I lately have been kind of going back and forth on this because I've noticed this lately, and it's something I thought of last night as well while watching that Cena Edge match, actually, where I'd said, for the audience that you're making this for, which is children,
sure.
I'll
grant you that. We don't have to have this discussion right now.
They're it's fine. Point being,
the audience they're making it for, which is children.
Yep. Fuck. Go further back.
Edge, Cena, last fan stand. You were watching it. You were thinking about it even last night.
Right. Yes. I would prefer things to be so with some of the. I think it came up with some of the Cena selling stuff where I was like, well, this is very overdone, like quite loud. Everybody's getting to see how hurt John Cena is, and I get that that's the point. You got to make sure the cheap sheets see. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, because lately I've been very, what the fuck? It's not even lately. I've noticed more and more that I've moved into. I like not understated, I guess, because that's not how I tell narratives. But I like I like quiet, I guess, is the
Yeah, no, I think I know what you mean, but carry on.
not so bright, I guess I'd say. The WWE does very bright and very, very flashy, and that's before I even talk about production.
Yeah.
And I think part of why I jump to like, let's do narrative shit is because if we were doing the best pro wrestling, we wouldn't be doing these gimmicks and characters anyways. We'd be doing a wrestling show, but we're not doing a wrestling show. We're writing the WWE, which is an entertainment company. And so I think, yeah, I've just been thinking about that lately, and I'm like,
that's a very purist philosophy on wrestling, to be honest with you.
I am 23, so I think I'm in that age range where you get really into fucking puro stuff again, and you're like, fuck yeah.
I mean, so yeah, just this, I'm going to give your argument back to you just to make sure I'm representing it correctly, which is essentially, if the wrestling was good enough to stand on its own, we would just be booking puro.
Not so much if the wrestling was good enough to stand on its own. I mean to say, if we were presenting the wrestling as ultra serious, which in this series and stuff like that, I think we've done a really good job at like making the wrestling important, and the wrestling has been a large aspect of this. Because I'm always in a little bit of a fight between like thinking of the real life WWE and then ours. So sometimes I'll my brain will go on like, oh well, we're the WWE, so like let's make some movies, pal. And the other time I'm like, well, we've been better than that so far. And we're going to continue to be. I just think I get into like a mind space where I'm like, well, if we're doing the gimmicks and characters and making movies, pal, let's make some fucking movies, pal. And that's when I'll come in with some big crazy pitch that inevitably has to be whittled down, because I really, honestly, I pitch things that I can't handle the scale of most of the time. Things will get away from me, and it'll...
Yeah, sometimes that's the value of having two of it. Like, so I'll pitch ideas I can't land in the hopes that you can. I think... I without trying to continue this conversation, I think I can say I think this is a relevant response to what you've just said, which is something I've said for a very, very long time, and you'll recognize. You can have all manner of different ways of doing a wrestling show, but at the end of the day, what really matters is the wrestling. That is why is it a wrestling show. No matter how you get there, if you are doing a feud that doesn't end in a match, nobody's going to remember it. And it's not going to draw money, and it's not going to sell a good wrestling show. We are producing an action movie, and an action movie without good action is a bad movie.
Yeah, fair play. And I think there's something in there as well where I think I keep it keeps coming across like I mean quality, and I guess I just mean presentation. Like if the presentation was to be grounded and to be real, which is why John Cena's crazy selling there drew that out of me enough to where I finally like put some kind of proper thought to it enough to be saying this here. I just think like if you were to present it very seriously, then yeah, maybe there isn't room for some of that more out there story stuff.
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I just think there is, right? Wait, maybe I'm still just misunderstanding the point you're making. Well, you point your head, if you take your wrestling seriously, that you can't do more sort of ungrounded is probably not the right word, but ungrounded sort of as I'll use the word wacky, not derogatorily. Hopefully, you understand what I mean. You can't do more. You can't just the wacky stuff has no place in your product, or less of a place in your product. Maybe if you go to less of a place, I can start to get on board with it, but that's a sliding scale.
If you were asking me, like, just straight up, what is your ideal form of wrestling? I would say, yeah, limit the wacky shit. Absolutely.
Limit it, sure, but okay, wait a minute. Maybe I agree with that. Because I don't really like the wacky shit, even though I'm very much like a genre neutral kind of guy who's like, yeah, someone will like it.
It's tough because I don't necessarily. It's that Cena Edge match again, where I was like, I don't like this. This isn't necessarily for me. I'm sports entertained, though. I know what they're going for. I think they're doing it well enough. I can appreciate that. I just don't think it's for me.
Yeah. I say that a lot about a lot of wrestling. I probably say that about 90% of the wrestling that I watch, actually, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Unless I'm watching two strikers striking, it's probably like,
right.
This is good, but it's not for me.
Yeah, I felt like... Yeah, I don't know. That match in particular just brought out a lot of those feelings where I was like, this should be much more heated, much more serious, much more... It doesn't even need to be more violent, necessarily. It just has to feel realer than it is. It's being presented like it's a cartoon. Unfortunately, I keep going back to that line because it's the thing I kept thinking of. Like, this is wrestling booked for and presented for a young audience who maybe can't handle that type of violence, so we have to make it kind of zany out of control instead of, whoa, this is very violent out of control.
You made your points well. I think it's probably time to bring the conversation
I was gonna say,
to a close.
I don't know what my big point was outside of I have two wolves inside of me. And at any time they are pulling me in two different directions.
Triple H talks about how nobody has won more World Heavyweight Championships than him, and tonight he's gonna win another one. So the reason why I don't like that wording is because that implies world titles, and there are people who have won more world titles, but not people who have won more World Heavyweight Championships.
Oh, okay. Yep.
You get what I mean? Yeah.
I didn't catch that. I thought that's exactly what you were saying, and I was like, I don't even think that's true, but I'll run with it. That's fine.
Yeah. He and Batista are joint with 4. Nobody else has won more.
Yeah, I thought you had just said world titles, and I was like, I don't think that's right, but I'll let it ride because I don't think there's anybody around left who has more world titles than him. So
I think Shawn might have more. Maybe not. I don't know, but
I don't care to go and see.
We can check.
Okay, yep.
If you're interested, I'm interested. He's got 4 world heavyweights and 5 WWE. There's
9.
almost certainly no way.
I think he's lapped him.
Yeah. Sean's got 3 WWE and 1 world heavyweight. No, he's got the 1 world heavyweight, so he's got 4.
He has quite literally lapped him. That's crazy. I said that, and he has. Wow.
Damn, I didn't realize he had 5 WWE title reigns at this point, because we've not given him any.
None. That's all from... I think you'll actually see... not to draw this out any longer. But yeah, they're all in like a year, basically.
Yeah. And then that 2002 one is him beating Hogan, right? Or maybe he loses to Hogan? Okay, yeah. All right.
No, you're right. Yes, he beats...
Taker?
He beats Jericho.
At Mania.
Yes, and then loses it to Hogan. Okay. This is 2002, yeah.
So he gets... That's right, because he gets 2 belts off of Jericho, and then they give him the new belt, right?
Yes, and he has it for like maybe a week or 2, and then drops it to Hogan.
Who drops it to Taker, I believe.
No, he drops it to Taker. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I guess we can check. We did a whole video on this.
Well, don't blame me, all right? It's badly done through this period, so It's Triple H, Hogan, Taker. You're
I was right,
Okay,
yeah.
I thought that was backwards. I don't know why.
Rock, Brock, and then the whole Big Show stuff. Yeah, I remember that from the video.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. The Scramble. Do that before the SNME ad.
Yep.
I don't think we need to hype up the IC title match. We can just go right into it after the...
Do you want the two guys at ringside?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just because it makes it easier to justify Santino winning. And then
Absolutely.
in the rematch, we can have them there. And the obvious implied justification is that this is SNME. Not everybody's at the SNMEs, so they just didn't happen not to be here. We've done Chavo, Triple H, Vladimir Kozlov needs his promo.
Yep.
And he's going to talk about how he's got to America. He's proven time and time again that his martial arts are stronger, that his people are stronger. And tonight he's going to reach the top of the mountain. He's going to scramble to the top of the mountain. And he's going to become the heavyweight champion of the world.
Mentality are better.
He's a mentality monster. A 4-minute Ray Psychosis video package.
Absolutely. What's the storyline at? Okay, we're running it then. All right.
Might get a creative idea for it. Run it
Yeah,
anyway.
it might be a good call.
Run it anyway, though.
Yep.
Actually, let's make it 3 minutes.
Yep.
And then we'll do entrances.
Generic? Or is this hype?
I think under our logic, it's generic.
Okay, I thought so. I was like, oh, it's a video. It's specifically called a hype package.
That's true. As part of that same angle, let's do 2 minutes of entrances each for these men.
Yep. Package hypes Psychosis versus Ray. They enter.
Maybe not hypes.
A package
showing the history between
recaps.
Psychosis. Yeah, recaps is good too. All right, tables, and then we show a picture of a table. Ladders, and we show a ladder. Chairs, and we show some chairs. Monday night, it's tables, ladders, and chairs. Jeff Hardy versus Edge. Now this, Tucker, I would say, is hype.
RLC. What's the R?
Rugs, ladders, and chairs.
That'd be terrible. Oh my god.
Radios, ladders, and chairs.
Radios.
Yeah.
Radiators.
All right, Justin Roberts, you get out there, son. It's your time.
Oh, hell yeah, it is.
To explain the rules of this match. So that's 1 minute, Justin Roberts, segment host.
Yep.
And then, we can only have 5 parts to this angle. I guess it's just going to be Shawn, Triple H, and Chavo all having separate entrances. And we'll count Vlad and Lasher as part of the match time that we get.
Solid to me. How long are the entrances here?
Shawn's 2, Try is 3, Chavo 1. Oh yeah, I meant to go watch the Scramble. I don't know where the people are before they enter this match. Are they just in the back?
Yeah.
Do they do a full entrance or do they run to the ring?
They run to the ring.
I guess we could just.
That's at least how it was in the video games.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Truth, yeah.
That could be different. But I'll investigate. But for the meantime, we can take Sean's. Actually, let's just keep Sean's entrance in. I don't know. You can unscript Triple H and stuff. Whoever wants.
All
to
these guys
unscript
would
it.
want to be unscripted anyways. I think.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It'll only fuck up Justin, but. Whatever.
Oh yeah, and then there's a fifth angle where Chavo Guerrero is a Triple H or non-speaking appearance, and Justin Roberts is like announcing them, I guess. Or maybe we can go Justin Roberts cameo here, and then Chavo and Triple H working the crowd.
Yep.
That's a minute.
Oh yeah, wait. Entrances. Sean's not here.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but I think we leave it for now, and whatever.
I like it. That works for me. That works for me.
2 minutes sounds good on that.
Okay.
You might just do main event pre-match rather than just because it's more than just entrances, right?
Yeah, good call. Good call. Okay, there we go.
And then I want one more angle: Bobby Lashley working the crowd, Vladimir Kozlov working the crowd, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and Chavo Guerrero non-speaking appearances. And then I was going to have this conversation about you on this show, but we've run out of time, so I'll have it tomorrow. But I still like my finish, but given our conversations about Bobby Lashley, I have concerns that my finish maybe doesn't fit your version of Bobby Lashley. So we'll talk about it tomorrow before we run the show.
Absolutely. What am I calling this?
The King of SmackDown.
Okay.
That's what Cole's going to call him.
I see. King Bobby.
Two.
Yep.
We can call it something. Actually, I'll throw this over to you. My idea is on comms. JBL's going to go, that might be the greatest defensive performance we've seen in the history of this sport. And then my thought was Michael Cole would say, and now nobody can deny Bobby Lashley truly is the king of SmackDown.
Oh.
Comms
react to results?
Oh, no. So I wasn't asking
Okay.
for suggestions on the angle title. I was wondering whether you even liked that phrasing for Cole to use, or if you had
Yeah, it's okay with me.
All right. Maybe think on it, because I'm not attached to it. If you could think of a better term, then I would be down. But leave this booked in like this for now.
Okay, cool.
And then we'll come back to it tomorrow. And that should be good.
Perfect.
Let's quickly run it. No, I'm kidding.
Woo! Get out of here. Perfect. Yeah, no. Awesome.
All right, well, we do have to get out of here though. But I think this was fun. Hopefully, you guys enjoy on the VODs. And yeah, we are going to be back. Oh, so here's how I've decided it's going to work. Working it through my head. We're not going to show you running the show on stream. So if you're on the VODs channel, there will not be a stream of this being ran. You're going to have to go over to Tucker's channel with the edited video like usual, or it's going to be up on the Patreon one day early.
Edited
As in, anyway, the edited video. If we do get around to doing Raw and SmackDown tomorrow, though, that will be on the stream. So if we see you tomorrow, it'll be then. Otherwise, we'll see you for the next time we do stream Raw and SmackDown. Thank you all for watching. Apologies if this is not what you expect for these shows. It's a little different, but I think this was still fun, and hopefully you guys do too. Tucker, you want to say goodbye?
Goodbye.